This is NBC Palm Springs. Breaking news.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Gino Lamont.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Many local businesses are closed for their first full day under Governor Newsom's newest orders. And in the middle of July, we still don't have answers about when kids are going back to the classroom. We'll take a look at those stories tonight. But first, just into our newsroom, federal medical teams are headed to a Valley hospital to help with the unprecedented surge in cases. Eisenhower Medical Center is now expecting officials from FEMA and an Air Force medical response team to arrive on Thursday. Our Kitty Alvarado is live now outside Eisenhower Medical Center with more details on this late breaking story. Kitty, what do you have for us tonight?
That's right, Sarah. And for weeks, staff here at Eisenhower Medical Center has been telling us that they cannot sustain the rate of infection, the cases that are coming in, to the ratio of their staff. They've been going for weeks nonstop, and they're very grateful for this team that's coming in, a team of about 20 active military personnel that includes physicians, physician's assistants, respiratory therapists, and critical care nurses. Dr. Williamson, the chief operating officer here at Eisenhower Health, he tells us that they're coming at a critical time for this center.
One, it's going to give our staff a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a break to recharge their batteries, kind of get their energy levels back up, because this has been a long process. It's been 4 months already that we've been working basically nonstop, taking care of COVID patients in the hospital. The second thing it will allow us to do is open some additional capacity, because we have bed capacity right now that we're not able to utilize because we're not able to staff those beds. So these teams will allow us now to actually reach out to more patients in the community and increase our capacity to care for them here at the hospital.
Now, he says he's grateful. Also grateful is the county. The county put in that request. They're very happy that request was fulfilled. Something else the county is telling us about is a delay in the testing appointments and the test results to get those back. They have a big backlog, and they tell us that could affect the spread of the virus, but also the critical reporting we give to the state, and that can affect our reopening.
Testing and contact tracing are critical in slowing the spread of coronavirus, but coronavirus testing in Riverside County is in high demand. Sites are seeing delays of 3 days to a week for appointments, and that's not the worst part. Those getting tested will not get their test results for at least 7 to 9 days.
By the time our contact tracers get the information, the patient who is positive would have been going more than 10 days from the point where they were tested.
In those 10 days, people that tested positive may have unknowingly exposed even more people.
Something that's risky because they may not know they're positive and have been making more contact with other people.
Quick results matter as our county positivity rate has climbed to 20%. ICU capacity bounces between 90 and 100%, factors that force the state to shut down more businesses. The state says the positivity rate must be lower than 8%, and there must be at least 20% ICU capacity. So when will we be allowed to reopen?
The numbers are the ones that are going to tell the story in the end. It's not a matter of days or weeks. It's a matter of what the numbers will eventually show.
And even if our numbers do go down, it may take weeks before we see action from the state.
We're getting test results back so delayed that the numbers are not representative of that particular day.
That's why wearing our masks, social distancing, and washing our hands to avoid getting sick will be the key to healing our county.
Imagine if you could take a medicine that was 95% effective, you would take that medicine. In this case, we're simply saying, do these 3 things, and you could have a 95% success rate in stopping the spread.
Something else the county tells us they're worried about is the spike in cases among younger people. Jose Arbayo also tells me that in just the last 2 weeks, a 19-year-old died. That's why they're urging people to avoid public gatherings. Reporting live from Rancho Mirage, Kitty Alvarado, back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Kitty. Take a look at the latest numbers from Riverside County. For the entire valley, 733 new cases were reported in the county, 126 of those here in the desert. 3 new deaths in the county, none here in the Coachella Valley.
More than 1 million international students no longer have to scramble to transfer schools or leave the country. The White House walks back its order to not allow these students to remain in the U.S. if they only are taking online courses. A little over a week ago, Immigration and Customs Enforcement said international students must be enrolled in in-person instruction or face deportation.
The Orange County Board of Education approves recommendation to reopen classrooms next month with no social distancing and masks not being required. Thousands of parents have signed a petition urging the school board to follow state guidelines, but board officials say requiring students to wear masks is, quote, not only difficult, but may even be harmful over time. There is little peer-reviewed scientific research that can confirm the fact that masks cause harm over time.
Nearly a third of young adults are at risk for severe COVID-19, and smoking plays a large part in that risk. Researchers looked at data from adults between 18 and 25 years old. They found 32% had at least one of the CDC risk factors, and half of that group were smokers.
Money's tight in all sectors right now, as we know, and the teachers union is now worried about a pay cut for teachers could be in the works. Yet we are learning that superintendents and assistant superintendents are still keeping their 13% pay increase from December. Our Daytona Everett is live now, and she explains what's next for Desert Sands Unified School District. Daytona, good evening.
Gino, at one point, DSUSD top officials said that they would take 2 furlough days. Well, the board voted against that because they say those top officials have been working hard all summer. Well, the teachers union is saying that teachers have also been working hard all summer, but their financial futures are uncertain. June 30th, teachers' contracts at Desert Sands Unified School District expired.
We're willing to accept no salary increases to close out the contract and complete the bargaining, and the district said no.
Trina Gonzalez-Alisi, president of the teachers union for DSUSD, says she believes the district left it open so that they could negotiate salary cuts.
We're not going to get any pay raises. We will be paying more for our medical insurance.
The district says there won't be any pay cuts for teachers because the governor's budget preserves funding for K through 12 schools. But there still is a lot of uncertainty. Alisi says the priority is being put on top management rather than teachers.
It makes me very frustrated.
Back in December, tensions ran high as teachers were informed top officials for Desert Sands would get a 13% pay raise.
There is absolutely no way teachers would get 13% increase in pay. We usually come in at about 1 or 2%.
The district said it was in an effort to be more competitive with other districts in the county. This is all relevant right now because recently top officials said they would take 2 furlough days where they wouldn't work, but also wouldn't get paid.
But we thought that was at least a nice gesture, that they would be willing to take furlough days, and they have not asked for any from teachers.
But then they went back on that decision.
I don't believe that our cabinet and superintendent should be taking 2 furlough days at all because of all the increased workload that they've had to endure through these challenging times.
I can tell you that teachers are also working hard over the summer. I've had a number of teachers contact me saying that they've purchased on their own new computers, new printers, they've expanded their Wi-Fi bandwidth on their own. That's money out of their own pocket.
The first of many expenses to come with a new virtual back-to-school model. Just within the last hour, DSUSD did get back to me. They said they can't discuss negotiations when bargaining is on the table. They did tell me that on August 17th, they will revisit those negotiations. We'll, of course, follow this here on NBC Palm Springs. Reporting live from La Quinta, I'm Daytona Everett.
The fall and the winter of 2020 and 2021 are going to be probably one of the most difficult times that we've experienced in American public health.
Yeah, that's the director of the CDC with a dire warning tonight. He says he's most worried about fall and winter because coronavirus will overlap with flu season. And scientists in the UK are telling countries to prepare for a winter COVID-19 peak because people spend more time indoors in the cold months.
Health experts say masks are one way to avoid the spread of COVID-19, but what about face shields? A lot of people are wondering which one works better.
I think that face shields are a great alternative to masks in situations and for people for whom masks might be a bit of a challenge, especially for people who may have hearing difficulties and need to see faces and facial expressions. Face shields can be a good option if other people are having sort of sensory issues.
The larger the face shield, the better. Experts say it needs to be able to give your face complete coverage. And of course, cleaning it often is also important to avoid cross-contamination.
A new study suggests immunity to COVID-19 might only last a couple of months. They found 16% had a potent level of antibodies after an average of 23 days after the first onset of symptoms. But that number dropped almost 17% after 3 months. The scientists say the levels of antibodies were higher in those who had more severe disease. It's important to note this study has not yet been peer-reviewed.
To stress the importance of masks, leaders from the Coachella Valley band together for this public service announcement, telling Greater Palm Springs area to mask up.
Small changes can make a big difference.
We're face covering because we're in this together.
We pledge to keep our valley safe and reopen safely.
Let's stop the spread by being informed and doing our part.
We're all taking that pledge. Join us in taking that pledge with us.
We pledge to be responsible and to help save lives.
Each of us must pledge to keep our valley safe.
Let's be safer and greater together.
This is our pledge to you. We can get through this together.
The video was posted on Greater Palm Springs social channels. Well, since March, the demand at local food banks has increased tremendously. Find Food Bank in Indio now serves more than 150,000 people each month. To help out, local businesses like Cardiff Transportation are volunteering staff and those shiny black vehicles for deliveries. Our Olivia Sandusky standing by now with more. Olivia.
Gino, Cardiff staff has been doing this since early April, and while the private transportation business has been slow these past few months, they're now using their vans to deliver food to those who can't leave their home.
You'll usually see Cardiff cars on the way to an A-list party, the Palm Springs Film Festival, or Coachella. But now they drive to a different location.
We go to the food bank and we pick up a certain amount of boxes, certain amount of bags, and we go to each household.
With major events canceled due to the pandemic, the transportation company lost 95% of its business. Now they've teamed up with Find Food Bank to make deliveries every other week.
And on Thursday, we're doing 13 households, 19 boxes, 32 bags.
The group serves 150 people a month, giving their vans and employees a new purpose.
You should see the look on these people's faces. They know me by name now. And it just feels nice to do that for everybody.
Cardiff says they were able to retain and pay some employees, while other staff volunteers for the food bank, which is in need of help.
Due to the age of our volunteers and closing down the warehouse, we lost all of our volunteers.
Throughout the last few months, Find Food Bank staff says demand has gone up 110%.
The need is definitely growing. We usually have about 5,000 volunteers in the community, and at that time we were processing 1 million pounds of food through our warehouse a month. Right now, we're processing 2 million pounds of food in our warehouse a month.
While they aren't sure when business will return to normal, Cardiff plans to continue helping those who can't leave their home.
As long as I can do this. It feels really good doing it.
Find Food Bank staff also says they do still have the National Guard helping out at the warehouses, but they could possibly leave by the end of August. So additional help is needed to serve the community. Olivia Sandusky, NBC Palm Springs.
Coronavirus coverage brought to you by East Valley COVID-19 testing site, serving residents of eastern Coachella Valley.
All right, let's head outside and take a look from a live look from our Agua Caliente casino cam. This one in Rancho Mirage. Hot evening out there tonight. We're going to send things over to NBC Palm Springs. Meteorologist Jerry Steffen in for Mike Everett on this Tuesday. Jerry.
Well, after a stretch of excessive heat over the Coachella Valley last weekend, finally the numbers are going to be down to near normal over the next few afternoons. Onshore flow getting a little breezy, maybe gusty in the wind-prone areas tomorrow, but that's about it. We'll check out our weekend forecast in the next few minutes, too. Satellite imagery clear over the Coachella Valley. Not a whole lot going on in Southern California. You got to look to our east, Arizona, New Mexico. That's where all the action will be for the next couple of days. All that monsoonal moisture streaming over those states. As far as Southern California, a lot of sunshine again tomorrow. Onshore flow will kick in, gusty late in the day tomorrow, but Like today, temperatures will be in that zone around 110 for the Coachella Valley. No weather advisories to point out. Dew points, basically the 40-degree mark during the middle of the afternoon. We'll see triple digits begin to show up at around 11 o'clock noontime and eventually getting to 110, 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Now, as far as temperatures over the next few days, not a whole lot of change going on. In fact, kind of holding steady. Comfort Air 3-day forecast, 109 tomorrow, 111 on Thursday, 110 on Friday, all with lots of sunshine. Full forecast and look at that weekend in just minutes.
Actress Naya Rivera died from drowning. A medical examiner in Ventura County released autopsy results today. The report says her death was an accident, and so far there are no signs that drugs or alcohol were involved. Rivera's body was recovered from Lake Piru just yesterday. She disappeared after renting a boat with her 4-year-old son. Her son said the two were swimming when she disappeared.
2 suspects plead not guilty in the murder of an 18-year-old whose body was dumped on a Coachella road. Alexis Rosas of San Diego and Maury Duarte of Indio allegedly shot Michaela Macy to keep her from testifying in a criminal case. A trial readiness conference is still being scheduled for October 13th.
The Riverside County Board of Supervisors approves a plan supporting outside investigations of lethal force incidents for sheriff's deputies. This ensures the Sheriff's Department doesn't investigate itself and offer a different approach to handling mentally ill people, hopefully reducing the number of in-custody deaths. Local departments will also move toward joint training with more work on de-escalation.
Palm Springs police officer finds methamphetamine, a large amount of cash, and a loaded gun and during a traffic stop. The driver was a convicted felon out on bail and driving with a suspended license. Hugo Cervantes was arrested on numerous charges. Police say 2 passengers in the car also had drugs on them.
2 suspects are arrested after a shooting leaves 1 person injured in Desert Hot Springs. Ryan Silva and Daniel Vallardes were arrested and booked for attempted murder. The victim of the shooting is still recovering.
And a traffic alert for you. The city of Indio will lay new asphalt on 4 streets started today. It'll run through the 24th of this month. The work will happen at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. The streets include Hoover, Fred Waring, Park Avenue, and Shadow Palm Avenue. Anyone who lives in these areas should have received details about the projects, but just give yourself extra time and be ready to go around.
A new 800-foot-long bridge is being built in Mecca on Avenue 66. Will feature 1 traffic lane in each direction along with a barrier separating bicycle and pedestrian lanes. The project also includes 3 new intersections with traffic signals.
And construction has completely stopped on the new Agua Caliente Arena in downtown Palm Springs. In fact, the fences have been taken down, the equipment's been removed as we wait to hear whether or not construction will begin again. Still ahead for us tonight, there's been a massive nationwide push to rename military bases, airports, streets, whole towns, and certainly schools and universities. And now the conversation has circled back to us here in Palm Springs. After the break, we're going to hear from staff and student at Palm Springs High School and somebody who's also a member of our local tribe.
Plus, did you vote by mail in March's election? Do you know if your vote counted? Over 100,000 ballots were rejected by the state, and we'll tell you why coming up. And the IRS reverses course, another new announcement regarding stimulus payments. That's coming up. And is Snapchat planning a switch? We'll tell you more about their attempt to take down TikTok. That's later in the show.
Well, in spite of logos and names of national team sports being changed because of its racist origins, a local high school says they won't be changing their nickname, and our Regina Urita has more on that.
They're called the Indians, and they have been for more than 80 years. But in the midst of a massive movement for racial equality and the Washington NFL team deciding to change their name, the high school's nickname is getting another look.
I mean, the number one reason why these names are offensive is because they dehumanize us.
Palm Springs High School says they have no intention in changing their name. One major factor being that it's not to cause offense, but instead to honor its history that should still be remembered even today.
The school has always been named Palm Springs High School Indians, and since its inception, and it was to honor, the community of the local Agua Caliente Indian tribe.
But decades ago, the tribe and the high school worked together to dissolve their former mascot and logo, recognizing that certain imagery and racist caricatures were outdated and offensive.
But we don't have an Indian logo. But there have been logos in the past, but and they still surface every once in a while, but they're on yearbooks or different things.
In a written statement, the chairman of the Agua Caliente tribe says they value the relationship they have with the school and appreciate that they seek their input and guidance on culturally sensitive topics. Students who've attended the high school and are members of the tribe also feel pride to be represented.
I do like the name, and also like the only way the school could be built like 80 years back was if they called it the Indians because it was on tribal land.
And during a sensitive time, the school wants to lead with unity.
A nice, strong community where we work together.
For NBC Palm Springs, I'm Regina Urita.
More than 100,000 mail-in ballots were rejected by California election officials during March's presidential primary, making it the highest in a statewide election since 2010. The most common problem for the disqualification was the deadline. Many of the ballots were not postmarked before or on Election Day and received within 3 days. Others forgot to sign it. California is extending the window for November. Thousands of California prisoners are expected to be released before the end of August. Most of the largest outbreaks in the state are in state prisons. Outbreaks of coronavirus, that is. Riverside County could receive up to 500 parolees. The county is currently monitoring nearly 1,900 parolees. Registered sex offenders and those serving time for violent crimes are not eligible.
The U.S. carries out its first federal execution in 17 years. Daniel Lewis Lee was convicted of killing an Arkansas family in 1996 in a plot to establish a whites-only nation. The victim's family members asked for a delay in Lee's execution because the pandemic prevented them from traveling to witness the death. But the Supreme Court voted to move forward with the execution.
The government is canceling stimulus checks that were sent to dead people. Watchdog groups found that $1.4 billion in stimulus payments were sent to more than 1 million deceased Americans. The IRS had previously said family members would have to send the checks back.
And one last reminder, if you haven't filed your federal taxes yet, you only got 1 day left to do so. This year's federal income tax deadline is tomorrow, Wednesday, July 15th. You can also request an extension to October 15th, but you still got to fill out a form. The form starts to be in tomorrow, and if you owe money, you have to pay the money now.
JetBlue's in-flight social distancing measures will continue until at least September. Middle seats on its larger jets and aisle seats on smaller planes will remain empty until after Labor Day. Groups of 3 will only be able to be seated in a row together by request.
Another airline carrier could be preparing to cut more workers. American Airlines is warning of potential furloughs. The terms of the $25 billion federal bailout prohibits airlines from laying off workers or cutting pay through September. But weak demand is forcing airlines to cut costs. Earlier this month, American said they're overstaffed by about 20,000 people for the fall.
If you're flying into an airport in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut, you could be asked to fill out a form, and if you refuse, you could face up to a $2,000 fine. It's because travelers from 22 hotspots, including California, will use the form to ensure they isolate for 14 days. Enforcement teams will be stationed at airports.
Still ahead, an update on the NFL no COVID plan in place. And training camps just 2 weeks away.
Plus, iconic album covers recreated by seniors. These stories and more when we come back. Plus, we're taking a live look now at our Agua Caliente casino cam. Jerry Steffen has a look at your forecast. Welcome back. Taking a live look now from our Walter Clark Highway 111 cam in Rancho Mirage. Lots of blue sky out there tonight. Jerry Steffens in for Mike, and he has a look at our forecast. Jerry.
Finally, after a super hot weekend, temperatures are close to where they should be. Earlier today, a high of 110, close to that 108-degree average for Palm Springs. Lots of sunshine, not much to show you on satellite or radar. All the action staying well to the east of us, where that monsoonal moisture is moving into Arizona and New Mexico. We had a little bit of high cloud cover, but for the most part, sunshine. No weather advisories. The heat warning we had long since expired. Okay, temperatures tonight bottoming out in the 70s and around 80 degrees for the Coachella Valley, 70s up north, and cooler, 59 degrees the overnight low for Banning, 66 for Cabazon late tonight through tomorrow morning. And then, like today, temperatures are going to be close to seasonal norms. So 108 to 112, that zone where we should be this time of year. Onshore flow will get a little gusty late in the day, but nothing really bad. Matter of fact, just gusty in the wind-prone areas. We're talking the San Gorgonio Pass High Desert, Yucca Valley Desert Hot Springs, Cabazon, Whitewater getting some of the stronger winds. Again, late afternoon, early evening tomorrow. The rest of us, just some strong breezes. As far as dew points, they'll be in the upper 30s, low 40s by the middle of the afternoon tomorrow. Triple digits begin to appear in the valley at around 11 o'clock noontime and eventually getting to 110 around 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Specifically, 109 for Palm Springs, Thousand Palms, 110s at Indio and Palm Desert. And Thursday, yeah, same kind of numbers for the Coachella Valley. Now, things will change a little bit over the weekend. Saturday, we'll have an onshore flow that could get a little gusty. We'll have a trough of low pressure that'll bring those winds onshore. All the action will stay again to the east of us, but getting close to California. That's that monsoonal moisture. No rain for us, just partly cloudy skies and adding a couple degrees. Could see temperatures as high as 114 on Saturday, possibly 116 on Sunday. That'll be the hottest day. Clouds, yeah, mostly sunny skies over the next few afternoons. Some clouds move in on Sunday. And as far as surface moisture, still relatively dry. Dew points in the 40s. That'll be Wednesday and Thursday, a little higher numbers as you move into the weekend. Here's your Comfort Air 7-day forecast. 109 tomorrow, 111 on Thursday for Palm Springs. We bump up those numbers beginning this weekend with a string of 113 Saturday, Sunday, Monday as well, before backing off just a little bit. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies and a high of 111.
After 15 years at the helm, Tom Bergeron is stepping away as host of Dancing with the Stars. The decision comes as ABC and BBC Productions say they're heading in a, quote, new creative direction. Co-host Erin Andrews will also not be returning. Mythbusters host Grant Imahara has died of a brain aneurysm. Imahara also hosted White Rabbit Project on Netflix and was known in Hollywood for his work in electronics and animatronics. Friends and coworkers are remembering him as a brilliant engineer, artist, and performer. He was just 49 years old. We'll be right back.
Time now for a check in your NBC Palm Springs sports headlines. The NFL has unveiled a new prototype mouth shield designed to reduce the spread of the virus. Players are set to start testing it this week, and as you can see here, the Oakley branded shield is placed behind the face mask. It has offset vents and a filter lined up directly in front of the mouth, combined with a visor, and a more detailed drawing shows the entire face area being covered. The league and the players' union haven't yet finalized the health and safety protocols for the season, but this would be a step in the right direction. Madden releases its ratings for Madden 21. Christian McCaffrey and Patrick Mahomes lead the way with 99 overall ratings. Some notable snubs: Giants running back Saquon Barkley, widely considered the best runner in the NFL, just a 91 rating. That's sixth on the list of running backs. Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson, one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the league, is rated at 86. That puts him 18th overall and 8 out of quarterbacks. One fan has beaten the Washington NFL franchise to the punch when it comes to picking the team's new name. 61-year-old Philip Martin McCauley has already trademarked at least 6 potential names. They include Pigskins, Monuments, Red Tails, Veterans, Red Wolves, and Warriors. And Red Tails apparently appears to be the early front runner. But McCauley says he's not in it for the money. He says he offered the team those names for free earlier this month, but he hasn't heard back yet. On Monday, the franchise dropped the name Redskins, which has been long criticized as offensive to, well, everyone. McCauley says his favorite new name is the Washington Pandas, but that choice is considered far-fetched. Yes, unlikely to be the Washington Pandas. Coming up after the break, we revisit tonight's top headlines as local school district administrators are asking for raises in the middle of a pandemic. Plus, one Coachella Valley business is changing up its model to make some money during COVID closures. And is Snapchat gearing up to take on TikTok? We'll tell you what new announcement has these two social media giants ready to square off. Plus, a care facility turns its elderly residents into rock stars. We'll show you how after the break.
New tonight, federal medical staff have been dispatched to the Coachella Valley to work at Eisenhower Health. The hospital is struggling with staffing and equipment woes because of an influx of patients. We're also learning Riverside County sites are seeing delays of 3 days to a week for appointments. And that's not the worst part. Those getting tested will not get their results for at least 7 to 9 days. Testing and contact tracing are critical right now in slowing the spread of coronavirus.
By the time our contact tracers get the information, the patient who is positive would have been going more than 10 days from the point where they were tested. And that obviously is something that's risky because they may not know they're positive and have been making more contact with other people.
Now, something else concerning coming from the county, there's a spike in younger people getting the virus. County health officials say a 19-year-old died in just the last 2 weeks. They're urging people to avoid social gatherings.
Money's tight in all sectors, and the teachers union is now worried about pay cuts for teachers could be in the works. Yet we're learning superintendents and assistant superintendents are keeping their 13% pay raise, something teachers, as you can imagine, are not happy about.
There's absolutely no way teachers would get 13% increase in pay. We usually come in at about 1 or 2%. It makes me very frustrated.
The district said it was in an effort to be more competitive with other districts in the county. That's why middle management got their raise, the first of many expenses to come with a new virtual back-to-school model.
We're taking a live look from our Agua Caliente casino cam in downtown Palm Springs and send things over to meteorologist Jerry Steffen. He's got a look at the forecast.
Well, after a stretch of excessive heat over the Coachella Valley last weekend, finally the numbers are going to be down to near normal over the next few afternoons. Onshore flow getting a little breezy, maybe gusty in the wind-prone areas tomorrow, but that's about it. We'll check out our weekend forecast in the next few minutes, too. Satellite imagery clear over the Coachella Valley. Not a whole lot going on in Southern California. You got to look to our east, Arizona, New Mexico. That's where all the action will be for the next couple of days. All that monsoonal moisture streaming over those states. As far as Southern California, a lot of sunshine again tomorrow. Onshore flow will kick in, gusty late in the day tomorrow, but like today, temperatures will be in that zone around 110 for the Coachella Valley. No weather advisories to point out. Dew points, basically the 40-degree mark during the middle of the afternoon. We'll see triple digits begin to show up at around 11 o'clock noontime and eventually getting to 110, 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Now, as far as temperatures over the next few days, not a whole lot of change going on. In fact, kind of holding steady. Comfort Air 3-day forecast, 109 tomorrow, 111 on Thursday, 110 on Friday, all with lots of sunshine. Full forecast and look at that weekend in just minutes.
Fine Food Bank in Indio says they're serving 110% more people than before the pandemic, and they need volunteers. To help out, Cardiff Transportation is using their vehicles to make food deliveries in the community. The luxury cars have been in low demand because of event cancellations, but now they have a new purpose.
You should see the look on these people's faces. They know me by name now. And it just feels nice to do that for everybody.
Cardiff staff plans to volunteer for the next few months. Fine Food Bank encourages anyone who wants to help to sign up.
When we come back, Canada and Mexico extend their border closures with the United States.
And a hospital in northern Italy discharges its final coronavirus patient. We'll have a full report on that country's remarkable turnaround. The U.S.-Canada border is expected to remain closed until at least August 21st because of the pandemic. Two Canadian government sources say in the coming weeks there will be extended restrictions that include stepped-up enforcement and surveillance. The borders have been closed to all non-essential traffic since March.
Mexico also extending restrictions on its border with the U.S. Under the new extension, non-essential travel is restricted through August 21st. It's the third time the policy has been extended since it was put in place March 21st.
A hospital in northern Italy has discharged its last coronavirus patient. It marked the end of a horrific ordeal in a town that was among the world's worst hit for COVID-19 4 months ago. Matt Bradley reports.
This has been a week of celebration for the doctors and nurses and staff at the Papa Giovanni, the 23rd hospital, right outside of Bergamo, Italy, because last Wednesday, this hospital was declared free of the COVID virus. And this was really the most afflicted hospital in the most afflicted city in the entire world during the coronavirus epidemic. But this hospital now, all of the patients who had COVID have now tested negative for the disease. And it's an indicator of just how far Italy has come. When I spoke with the head doctor at Papa Giovanni the 23rd, he said they're not learning the lessons from Bergamo, Italy, or even from their own nations. And so he says that those countries, like in the United States, who aren't learning lessons from Italy, they would do well to understand that maintaining a firm lockdown for as long as possible until those numbers of new cases and deaths have really bottomed out in a convincing and long-term way, only then is it safe to lift the lockdown. That's the lesson we're hearing from them, and that's the lesson that a lot of Americans just don't seem to be hearing. Matt Bradley, NBC News, London.
All right, heads up. Now it's time to glimpse a once-in-a-lifetime celestial event. A 3-mile-wide comet named Neowise will be visible in northern hemisphere skies at certain times of the evening for the rest of July. After that, it will disappear and not return for 6,800 years, where most of us will not be alive. Boy, we said once in a lifetime. They're not kidding, huh?
Most of us won't be alive?
68,000 years from now? I wonder who does the math.
Only 6,800 years from
now.
now.
Who does the math on that to figure out it's not coming back for 68,000 years?
I don't know.
There's a live look, courtesy of our Agua Caliente Casino Cam. It looks hot. We'll find out if it is. And Jerry joins us after the break. All right, looking at a live picture, courtesy of our Walter Clark Cam and lovely downtown Rancho Mirage. Let's check in with our own Jerry Steffen in tonight for Mike Everett. Hey, Jerry.
Finally, after a super hot weekend, temperatures are close to where they should be. Earlier today, a high of 110, close to that 108-degree average for Palm Springs. Lots of sunshine, not much to show you on satellite or radar. All the action staying well to the east of us, where that monsoonal moisture is moving into Arizona and New Mexico. We had a little bit of high cloud cover, but for the most part, sunshine. No weather advisories. The heat warning we had long since expired. Okay, temperatures tonight bottoming out in the 70s and around 80 degrees for the Coachella Valley, 70s up north, and cooler, 59 degrees the overnight low for Banning, 66 for Cabazon late tonight through tomorrow morning. And then, like today, temperatures are going to be close to seasonal norms. So 108 to 112, that zone where we should be this time of year. Onshore flow will get a little gusty late in the day, but nothing really bad. Matter of fact, just gusty in the wind-prone areas. We're talking the San Gorgonio Pass High Desert, Yucca Valley Desert Hot Springs, Cabazon, Whitewater getting some of the stronger winds. Again, late afternoon, early evening tomorrow. The rest of us, just some strong breezes. As far as dew points, they'll be in the upper 30s, low 40s by the middle of the afternoon tomorrow. Triple digits begin to appear in the valley at around 11 o'clock noontime and eventually getting to 110 around 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Specifically, 109 for Palm Springs, Thousand Palms, 110s at Indio and Palm Desert. And Thursday, yeah, same kind of numbers for the Coachella Valley. Now, things will change a little bit over the weekend. Saturday, we'll have an onshore flow that could get a little gusty. We'll have a trough of low pressure that'll bring those winds onshore. All the action will stay again to the east of us, but getting close to California. That's that monsoonal moisture. No rain for us, just partly cloudy skies and adding a couple degrees. Could see temperatures as high as 114 on Saturday, possibly 116 on Sunday. That'll be the hottest day. Clouds, yeah, mostly sunny skies over the next few afternoons. Some clouds move in on Sunday. And as far as surface moisture, still relatively dry. Dew points in the 40s. That'll be Wednesday and Thursday, a little higher numbers as you move into the weekend. Here's your Comfort Air 7-day forecast. 109 tomorrow, 111 on Thursday for Palm Springs. We bump up those numbers beginning this weekend with a string of 113 Saturday, Sunday, Monday as well, before backing off just a little bit. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies and a high of 111.
They are one of our valley's oldest nonprofits. For over 70 years, the United Way of the Desert has reached out to help our entire community in countless ways. And during this pandemic, they have vowed to continue their mission to live united.
You do so much for our valley, and during this time in particular, tell me how you've kind of had to regroup and step it up to still make sure you're relevant and you're helping us.
Of course. So just like every nonprofit here in the Coachella Valley, we had to quickly, rearrange ourselves to make sure that we were meeting the needs of the community. So, we have always had our water assistance program, which is $100 credit for folks here in the Coachella Valley that have their water provided by CBWD or DWA or the city of Indio, Joshua Basin as well. So we've increased our outreach for the water. In fact, since the pandemic, we've provided more than the need has gone up 400+%. So we've been assisting clients directly that way. In the month of May, we helped 331 families with rental assistance here locally in the Coachella Valley. We have a valley population of about 450,000 each year annually. United Way of the Desert, along with their partners through our funding efforts, we reach about 33 to 35,000 families a year.
And I want to quickly mention your Storytime readers, because you have really a wonderful program that allows parents a little break in the evening to have community members come and read a story online, virtually on your Facebook Live page.
Here we go. When a Dragon Moves In by Jody Moore.
And it is a wonderful program, because I know parents at the end of the day are a little tired, but we want to make sure our children are read to at story time. So you're still looking for volunteers. Anyone can do it, right?
Absolutely. You can go to our Facebook page at United Way of the Desert. We actually have a Storytime link there on our Facebook page. You can register to be a volunteer. So every night at 7:30, our volunteers come on and read a story to the community, and the response has just been wonderful.
Crystal, thank you so much for all you do. United Way of the Desert, of course, is really one of our great partners in nonprofits and keeping us all healthy and safe during this dire time. Appreciate you spending the time with us and giving us an update.
Thank you, Sandy.
Well, in consumer news tonight, pandemic pot sales are booming. Marijuana sales in Colorado reached an all-time high in May. For the first time, sales reached more than $190 million. Cannabis product sales have been a boon for Colorado, delivering more than $167 million in taxes and fees.
Snapchat may be gearing up to challenge TikTok. It's testing a new feature where users can move through public content by swiping up or down, something TikTok made popular. The timing is interesting, though, because the Trump administration is currently threatening to ban TikTok because of the app's ties to China.
The iconic Ford Bronco is back. After a 25-year hiatus, Ford revealed a much-anticipated adventure SUV available in 2- and 4-door models. There's also a stowable roof panels and doors. Reservations for the 2021 Bronco can be made for $100 at Ford.com if you want to get one of your own.
An elderly care facility in the UK is spending a lockdown turning the people into rock stars. To keep spirits high during a months-long lockdown, the care home recreated some of the most famous album covers. The project covers an array of artists from Adele, David Bowie, Elvis Presley. Even staff members got in on the action with a Queen cover recreation. The pics have, of course, gone viral, making social media stars out of the seniors. There's that Queen cover.
All right, coming up after the break, we've got a little brighter side for you tonight. We're going to leave you with some funny videos of animals, because why not?
Brighter Side of the News is brought to you by Holland RV, located off the I-10 at Washington.
All right, to end our newscast tonight, we're going to show you some animals gone wild. A curious cow was caught on camera wandering into a police station in Australia. It was first spotted on surveillance cameras wandering around outside. And after the staff snapped a few pictures, the cow left. Well, there you go. And in Massachusetts, this fawn gets caught taking a dip in front of the pool crew. Little deer hopped into the pool before dashing through the other end of the yard. The fawn was all right, just a little wet and a lot cooler. Thankfully, not in the deep end of the pool, because it'd be a different story.
No, but it did leave a little present for the pool cleaners.
You just added that part yourself.
This is our QR code. All you gotta do is click on that, and it'll take you to all of our social media websites. You can see all or portions of this show or any of the other stories and features that we do. It's there for you anytime we're on. See you back here at 11.